What's the one souvenir you brought back from deployment that's technically illegal? I was a specialist in the army, deployed to Afghanistan in 2017. Our forward operating base was in this remote village where local kids would hang around the fence line every day. One kid, maybe 8 years old, had this tiny puppy that followed him everywhere. The puppy was this scraggly little thing, ribs showing through its fur, covered in fleas, but it had these big brown eyes and the sweetest personality. Every day I'd save part of my lunch and bring it to the fence. The kids started calling the dog American because of me. Around month 7 of our deployment, the kids stopped showing up. I asked our interpreter what happened. He told me the family had moved away suddenly, but they left the dog behind. It was living in an abandoned building, starving. I couldn't just leave it there. So one night during my guard shift, I snuck outside the wire and grabbed the puppy, smuggled it back into my barracks inside my jacket. My roommate Tyler freaked out. "Dude, are you insane? You can't have a dog on base? That's like 10 different regulations." "I'll figure something out," I told him. "I can't let it die out there." I kept the puppy hidden in my footlocker during the day, only let it out at night when fewer people were around. Fed it scraps from the dining facility. Tyler helped me cover, but we both knew this couldn't last. 2 months later, we're packing up to go home. I've gotten attached to this dog. It's healthy now, responds to commands, follows me everywhere. I couldn't imagine leaving it behind. That's when I made the dumbest decision of my military career. I decided to smuggle it home. I contacted this shady contractor who worked logistics. He told me for $500 he could get the dog into a shipping container heading back to the States. No questions asked, no paperwork, completely off the books. I paid him everything I'd saved from deployment. He gave me an address in Georgia where the container would arrive, said the dog would be fine. They did this all the time. The flight home was torture. I kept thinking about whether the dog was okay, whether I just killed it by stuffing it in some dark shipping container for 3 weeks. When we got back to Fort Stewart, I had 2 days of in-processing before I could drive to that address. Longest 2 days of my life. Finally, I borrowed Tyler's car and drove 4 hours to this warehouse in the middle of nowhere. The contractor met me there. He opened up the container and there was my dog, skinny again but alive, tail wagging like crazy when it saw me. I thought I'd gotten away with it. Drove straight to my apartment off base, set up food and water, figured I was home free. 3 days later, there's a knock on my door. It's 2 guys from Army CID and someone from Customs. Apparently the contractor had been under investigation for smuggling for months. They'd been watching that warehouse, photographed me picking up the dog, traced my license plate. "Specialist Bennett," the CID agent said, "you're under investigation for violation of customs law, importation of undocumented animals, and violation of General Order No. 1 regarding pets in theater." I spent the next 6 months in legal hell. The dog had to be quarantined because it had no vaccination records, no proof it was disease-free. Cost me $3,000 in vet bills and legal fees. My first sergeant called me into his office. "Bennett, you deployed to a combat zone, followed every order, did your job perfectly. Then you ruined your record over a dog." I got an Article 15, lost a rank, and had to pay a fine to Customs. But the worst part was they were going to put the dog down because it didn't have proper import documentation. That's when my chain of command did something unexpected. My platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Williams, went to bat for me. He contacted a military working dog handler he knew who had connections with animal rescue organizations. They managed to get the dog registered through some emergency veterinary program, got all its shots updated, proved it was healthy. Took 2 months and cost another $2,000, but they saved it. I got to keep the dog. Named it Kandahar, even though it came from a completely different province. It lived for 12 more years, died peacefully in 2029. Tyler still gives me grief about it. "You almost went to military prison over a dog, man." Worth it though. That dog got me through some dark times after I got out. PTSD, adjustment issues, all of it. Having something that depended on me, that was just happy to see me every day, made all the difference. The illegal souvenir that almost ended my career turned out to be the best thing I ever brought home from war.